Week of inflows last week, almost $2 billion. The Bitcoin ETF issuers like BlackRock, Fidelity had to buy. So why did the price go down, and when can we see a rally next? We're going to talk about that. And yes, I was wrong. We are not at 75K, but I think we'll get there in the next 2 to 3 days. I'll explain my reasons why. We also have some news on XRP and Cardano, as the Chang hard fork for the ADA community is going to bring in the governance, is going to bring in Voltaire, and is going to unlock $1 billion in treasury. We're going to talk about that, where that can take Cardano's price, and whether you should be buying ADA right now. We're also going to talk about Caspa. Is Quant a good pickup under $90, or is this a dead project as more competitors have gone into space? Also, we're going to talk about real-world asset tokenization, baby boomers, and how they are the key to the next massive rally. We have that to talk about and much, much more on today's episode of Sin City Crypto. Let's go.
It's your boy, Big Rob, back in the house. Welcome to Sin City Crypto. If it's your first time checking us out, we're the entertainment-focused cryptocurrency channel. We take old, boring, and stale information and repackage that thing up in a fun, sexy way. We are over 70K. We are back on track. We are using this 70K as support now for the last 45 minutes.
You know, I'm just going to give an open forum. I told everyone on the stream on Friday that if Bitcoin was not at 75K by Monday, you guys can clown on me. So go ahead, get it all out.
What did I say? So last Friday I said, hey, you know what? I think. But here's the thing. We were discussing price action. I said, hey, the stock market's going to open up. I think that people are going to see the value of Bitcoin. And Monday morning, I would expect Bitcoin to be over 70K.
We are
71, 72. I threw those numbers out there. Not quite there yet, but we're in the right direction.
We are precisely at 70,000 flat. Well, now 69.9. But you know, Rob, we always talk about the bullish inflows and BlackRock bought this much, and so some people might be wondering, so then why hasn't the price gone up? You want to maybe talk to those people.
Why am I not a millionaire after I bought 3 months ago?
No, hey, if they're buying so much Bitcoin, why isn't the price going up?
The people that say that are the same people that have the expected life-changing money within the 2-year time window.
Hey,
and
I saw someone on Twitter had do it. Okay.
Here's the thing. If it's more than a 10x, wait. Like, okay, if you all of a sudden want to be a millionaire and you throw 200 grand down, then sure, yeah, you know what? Shorter time horizon. Why not? Yeah, I mean, you throw 200K at a large altcoin, one of the safer picks, quote unquote, and you're like, hey man, in 18 months, I think this 200K will turn me into a millionaire. Absolutely. You know what? Why not? There's plenty of those projects I think should 5x within the next, say, 1 to 2 year calendar window. Now, with that aside, if you are DCAing and you're buying $1,000 or you're taking $300 out of your paycheck and buying some questionable altcoin, and 4 months later you are not rich, let's reevaluate your
life.
Yeah, your life, your expectations. Probably, you know, probably that same guy that gets the job or gal that gets the job, and then they're like, yeah, they said they're gonna make me CEO, vice president after I get through orientation. Like, bro, work your way up.
You know, thanks for not answering the question, by the way, but it's okay. I'll answer.
What was the question? BlackRock. Why?
Yeah, BlackRock. So what I want people to understand is this, is typically when you have large buys, right? Let's just take a look. Let's take a look at how much BlackRock bought last week, okay? 274 million, 155 million, 350 million, and 168 million. Let's just call it $1 billion, okay? call it $1 billion worth of Bitcoin that they had to buy on behalf of their clients last week. They're not just going to go directly on the order books as it's going to affect the price, right? And they probably won't get it at the price that they want to get it in, hence not bringing as much returns to their people. So what do? They go to what's called OTC, over the counter. This is typically where miners sell. So if you're a miner and you mine Bitcoin and you go to sell, let's just say 500 Bitcoin, you're not just going to dump it on the market because it's going to affect the price and you're going to lose money. So you go to someone like Coinbase and you say, hey, I got 500 Bitcoin. I'm willing to take a $500 per coin less because I know overall I'll get more money. They sell it to They sell it to Coinbase. Coinbase custodies it in their OTC wallet. And you take a look here, just a simple search. How much Bitcoin is held in addresses tied to OTC desks? 5,100 Bitcoin. What's the math on that, by the way? 5,100 Bitcoin times 70,000. They're 3.5 billion. Oh, no, that's not right. 350 million?
Your on-the-fly math is absolutely terrible. You said 5,100?
5,138 times 70,000.
Okay, so 50...
It's like should be $360 million-ish. Something like that. Well, looks like Robin can't do math on the fly or off the fly.
You got 357 million.
Okay, so $350 million is still left on OTC right now. That's not including what miners continue to sell. And so the idea here is, you can take a look back at what these OTC balances were 8 months ago, 12 months ago, 2 years ago. They were a lot higher. So they're starting to dwindle down. Obviously, there's still some pressure from selling. Obviously, we've seen outflows from certain ETF providers. Grayscale, ARK Investors had a few days of 100 million in outflows. And so it's a balance. The idea is once we get more institutions, more retail coming in, these numbers are going to amp up. And then you got the people that are not going to sell, right? 72, 73% of Bitcoin over the last 1 year that's been bought hasn't been sold. So these things take time to play out. But the thing is, once this thing starts to run dry and the ETF issuers have no choice but to dip into the order books, that's when you're going to see those violent price moves. It just doesn't happen overnight, my friends. So there's the answer to your question. But taking a look, Robin, last week we brought in the ETF issuers bought around $2 billion worth of Bitcoin. We take a look at this chart here. ETF, yeah, so there's a number, 2 billion plus. So I was on the downside. But look at this. The highest we've seen since day 40 of the ETF, which was around early March, late February. Do you see this trend continuing, or do you think we're going to see a cool off like we did in the center here, Robin? It was about a 60-day cool off period with some spikes here and there. Even we had a whole week of outflows. But do you foresee the same thing happening, or do you think we're still going to hit those $2 billion a week inflows as maybe more institutions start to come in? We discussed ad nauseum.
What is that? What's the time horizon on that circle you got there?
This one?
Highlighted part? Yeah.
This was this past week.
So just the past week. So in the past week, we pretty much at the same price point there, or the same price on Bitcoin. And so you've had this surge in volume, but yet we haven't seen the surge in price. Kind of, back to the original question you had. And so if the inflows are coming in, however, the price hasn't moved up. I mean, it ticked up a little bit. I mean, we were brief periods in time over 70K last week, but a lot of last week was right below 70K. And so for me, I look at it as, hey, the volumes are going to keep going because the prices yet went up, right? And at least not anything dramatic. And so you're not going to have any outflows. You're not going to have any major outflows. You're not going to have a bunch of selling, right? And so for me, the buys are going to still keep coming in. And I think that the price of Bitcoin is going to tick up over the next 2 to 3 weeks. So I don't think there's going to be a cool off. I think that we get back up to that all-time high. I think the all-time high is going to be a large psychological number because everyone's going to say, hey, everyone's in profit. People are going to take profits there. So I think the next 2 weeks, we're on the way to 75,000.
Do you think, there's a lot of analysts that are saying, hey, the volatility, and Matt Hogan said this as well, volatility is going to continue to decrease for Bitcoin as you have these institutions, these hedge funds, these RIAs start to balance their portfolio. So as Bitcoin's price rises,
not post-halving, I agree with you on the longer horizon.
You think this cycle we can still see that explosive price growth?
Yes. And the reason being is that, well, one, you have the halving, so supply shock. Two, you have a brand new product available to institutions. So even though institutions aren't going to have large swings, they're not going to be buying and selling and dumping on the market. They don't have the same type of transactions that retail has, right? Retail gets spooked and gets FOMO and YOLOs into projects off of their friend hyping it up. So these are going to be calculated moves by institutions. But the thing is that we only have a very small percentage of institutions, hedge funds, retirement accounts, and these people have just dipped their toe in the water. And so we're about to get that cannonball effect, right? We're going to get all these institutions coming in. There's just not enough Bitcoin to go around. As you mentioned, we look at the numbers for the over the counter. I look at this scenario right now, and we are going into an election year. It's 4 months away from the election, right? It's coming up.
5 months, yeah.
4 or 5 months away. We know that big narrative here is crypto, or at least from the Republican side. There's been progressive discussions and legislation coming out to foster crypto adoption here in the United States. You have the halving and the institutions, the big money. Let's be real. We talk about it all the time. It's like 80% of the wealth, or 20% of the wealthiest companies and individuals control 80% of the world's wealth. This segment was not exposed to Bitcoin. And so this money is now
You're talking about companies like NVIDIA, Apple.
NVIDIA, your billionaires, your
Warren
hedge
Buffett.
funds, your retirement accounts. And so, the big money globally hasn't had access to Bitcoin unless they wanted to go through the self-custody and the multi-sig wallet and convince all the board members and don't lose a seed phrase and let's make sure that everyone's aboard with this. And are we going to get sued by the SEC? All that's gone. And so now you have a situation where, hey, if I manage a 401k, I can say to the board members here, or I could propose that, hey, why don't we get a little exposure to Bitcoin? Those conversations are happening, perhaps not with every single retirement account, perhaps not with every single company, but one by one, the meter is moving to the right, more and more adoption. And I'm telling you, this bull market here is going to melt faces. And so if you're watching now and everyone else at work thinks you're a dummy, and let me tell you, if you have positioned yourself now, you're in a good spot. And you know what? It's going to be the big transition, right? We're going from a fiat analog based system to money on the internet. We can look at a million examples. We can say, hey, media went from newspapers to DVDs to online. You can say hotels went from picking up the phone and a travel agent to all on your app. Your money is leaving the traditional bank account and your checks and your wire transfers, and it's going online to the blockchain. And so think about all of the companies that transferred over. Think about Blockbuster versus Netflix. Think about your traditional travel agent versus hotels.com. It's that big. It's that big.
I can argue
this
it's
is
bigger.
finance. Yeah, it is bigger because it's finance. It's money.
Talking about $100 trillion global market, right?
Yeah.
And we're trying to move it all on chain, right? You got people like Layer Fink trying to do the exact same thing that we're talking about. So I get it, right? Everyone wants their bags to grow. I do too. I want to make money, but guess what? It is what it is. If you take a look historically, what Bitcoin has done post halving, it's the exact, it's followed suit every single cycle, right? Rally up to the halving, dip, dip, up, consolidate, boring. And then one day you're going to wake up. You're going to get the notification. Sensitive Crypto's live. You're going to open up your wallet app, right? Your portfolio app that you track your coins and your portfolio. You're going to be like, holy shit. What is going on? You're going to tune in. You're going to see, oh my God, this happened, that happened. Bitcoin, $10,000 daily candle, $2,000 hourly candles. And then the whole market start to rally. And like, oh my God. And then, so it's just, everyone relax. This is all par for the course here, guys, okay? Do you want to share this? Global spot Bitcoin ETFs now hold over $70 billion in Bitcoin, representing 5% of the total Bitcoin supply. How do you think this number can get to 20%?
It's not, can it? It will. I just don't know when. The Bitcoin purchases are being incentivized, at least currently, to be through the New York Stock Exchange versus a traditional exchange like we are used to, right? That's why Wells notice, lawsuit, you shut you down, can't operate in the U.S., you don't have the licenses. It's one after another. The United States government, and you see a lot of this globally, even outside the U.S., they're trying to get you to purchase Bitcoin through products that are regulated already, right? That's why we see futures trading done on the CME instead of leverage trading on an exchange, or at least that's what they want you to do. They want you to buy Bitcoin through the ETF, through BlackRock and friends, instead of buying it through Binance offshore. There are some exceptions. So for the people that like to buy and custody themselves, there is an option. There is Coinbase. There are a handful of other exchanges, but they make it very difficult for those companies to operate. They make it very difficult for those companies to offer any other services outside of Bitcoin. And there's a reason for that. They're trying to pigeonhole you into those markets. And so for that reason, I would expect, with all of this new money coming in, with the wealth globally buying majority of their assets through the stock exchange, that's where the money's going to come from, and that's where the percentage for Bitcoin holdings is gonna.
Let me play devil's advocate here for a second, right? Do you think so? I think we're both in agreement here that we're going to see more ETFs, right? We're going to see obviously an Ethereum ETF, Solana, XRP, Doge. We're probably going to see more, right? And so,
I'll say this, just a quick thought here. Yes, we'll see more ETFs, but why? Because, well, Wall Street themselves are a bunch of degens, right? The Wall Street, there's no shortage of penny stocks, and there's no shortage of companies going public that got no business doing so. And so if you want to take on some massive risk in Wall Street, there is plenty of it. And the people that have a track history of taking on risk, well, don't look at the crypto people. Look at traditional finance. Those people are leveraged out of their ass. And so if you think that they're scared of giving a high risk product and putting it on the Wall Street, it's been there for the last 100 years. And so right now we're just coming around to crypto. We opened up the gates. We opened up the floodgates. We got Bitcoin. We got Ethereum. Now the traders, Wall Street companies, they're going to start knocking at the door like, we want more. And even if it sounds risky, even if it's questionable, at this point, you can't stop it, right? It's coming.
This is the point where I was getting to. I was getting to the point, right? We hear about it. Let's just take a 5% number, for example. Hey, we're allocating 5% of our portfolio to Bitcoin. Do you think, let's fast forward a year from now. We have a Solana ETF, Ethereum ETF, XRP ETF. Say we have 10 crypto ETFs, including Bitcoin. Do you think these institutions are going to say 5% allocation of Bitcoin and another 5% in other cryptos, or 5% total? 3% of that is Bitcoin.
I think
2% of
we
that.
start at 1 to 3% realistically.
No.
I think it moves
I'm
up.
not arguing the percentage. What I'm arguing is, will crypto be lumped into the Bitcoin holdings, or will it be completely separate?
I think you get a percentage, and then that breaks down. Right?
Okay.
And so you have.
Well, then I don't think Bitcoin will get the 20%.
You have the 1 to 5% holdings in crypto.
Okay, which includes Bitcoin.
Yeah, from there you get 70%.
And you
Bitcoin.
still think 20% of the supply will be held by ETFs?
Yeah. I mean, who's the largest wallet right now outside of Satoshi?
BlackRock.
It's already there.
But what I'm trying to say,
it's already there.
But what I'm trying to say is, once these other products are available,
it doesn't.
Can't I argue that some people? What you're saying is they're not going to have a complete different allocation. It's all going to be lumped into one.
The big money.
They're going to pull from
big money's not going to take risk. Big money, the banks. I mean, look at banks, hedge funds.
Robin, look at what Vanguard. Was it Vanguard?
Look no further than like Berkshire Hathaway versus a venture capital based out of California, right? They both have a lot of money. Who's got the most money? Berkshire Hathaway. If they're going to get exposure to crypto, they're going to go only Bitcoin. Maybe they sprinkle a little bit of Ethereum on there. They're not going to touch anything else. Venture capital, though, their investment strategy is going to be completely different. But in a sense, as far as how much money is globally, the big boys control the most, right? The asset managers, the banks, and these large financial institutions, they're the ones that control majority of the money sloshing around the world. They're not going to take on risk by going down the list of speculative ETFs. Now, speculative ETFs will come. They will rise. There will be more products offered. But just because they're offered, I don't expect the largest companies out there to say, oh, hey, well, we already got Bitcoin. Let's buy a bunch of altcoins. No, I think that in the same way that we look at a savvy investor versus someone that's a little bit more high risk, the same can be said for traditional finance. You have your take very little risk type of asset manager and financial institution. Those are the biggest in the world. They're going to be majority in Bitcoin. And so when you look at the numbers, when you zoom out, it's still going to be kind of the same. I think that traditional finance, or how about this? ETFs will still probably be 85% value market cap in Bitcoin just for the ETFs. And then the other ETFs, let's just say there's a basket of 10 of them, 10 other ones, I think will be 10% to 20% max. I think it's going to be a far different breakdown on market cap than you have on, say, coin market cap, right? For what we see right now for on-chain value, I think is going to be grossly different than the ETFs. I think the ETFs are going to be centralized on Bitcoin. Perhaps Ethereum will be second. I'm not sure what the breakdown there will be, but I don't think that there's going to be this very balanced portfolio of multiple altcoins. It's Bitcoin's going to be king, at least in the ETF world.
I think we take a look at the market cycles we have in crypto, right? We talk about money flows into Bitcoin, profits go into large caps, Ethereum, mid caps, small caps, meme coins, right? And then bear market, everything goes back into Bitcoin, and then that rallies, right? I think when you take a look at a company like Vanguard, right, the second largest asset manager in the world, $7.3 trillion, why do they not have a Bitcoin ETF listed? Why do they not have a gold ETF? Because it doesn't produce income, doesn't produce revenue. What does? Altcoins like Ethereum, altcoins like Solana, altcoins like Cardano, maybe not XRP, but, well, maybe with XRP, with the whole stablecoin or Ripple. But my point is, are we going to see a similar trickle-down effect of money and profits being taken from Bitcoin? And is their hunger for more risk going to grow as they see, wow, we got a 300% gain in Bitcoin, but Ethereum just had a 700% rally. And we can make money on the back end. Right now, this would include, them having a refile, maybe allow staking in the ETFs. But I think there's a big revenue opportunity for these companies that can say, hey, look, I can double dip. I can I can get money from the fee I charge for custodying and creating the shares of the ETF when clients buy. I can also use the client's Ethereum, the client's Solana, the client's Cardano that I had to buy with their money, rehypothecate it, use it to make more money, whether it's through staking, whether it's through a DeFi, whatever it is they decide to do. I think leaving that kind of money on the table, I don't think they're going to do that.
I agree. I 100% think that is exactly what's going to happen, but it's going to be with smaller financial institutions compared to the big boys. So the JP Morgan, we're going to go back to Berkshire Hathaway, even BlackRock. I think all of these major household names, I think, are just going to play it safe, stick with Bitcoin. But everything you said, I think, is going to transpire in venture capital and also hedge funds. I don't think you'll find that in retirement, but
it's interesting. Where no one knows the answer because this is brand new.
Yeah.
So we're all in it for the ride. It's exciting to watch it unfold right in front of our eyes. And as a media company, being able to cover it, bring the news and information to you guys, it's
I do have a couple things. One here, you have 70K memes are back here. So we are so back. You got the Reaper knocking at 70K and back again. And then
hey, eventually, man.
Also, so right now live is the Apple event. I know we kind of touched on this last week, and we were talking about Apple is getting
Siri, right?
They're getting into AI, right? So you got Marquez Brownlee here, prominent.
He is so good at what he does.
Yeah. So this guy, he's at the event. So this is now this is live. So
That's good marketing right there.
Apple Intelligence, AI. And so we see what happens when there's a buzz or there's news or there's quarterly reports coming out of the NVIDIA camp. We see NVIDIA
they just had their stock split today, 10-1.
Yeah, so NVIDIA obviously kind of all in on AI. They're the leading hardware manufacturer for the generative AI compute, or at least their quote unquote graphic cards, the ones that are specifically tailored to AI. And so when you see that they have success or big news, you see a big pump, a rally in AI sector, particularly in AI tokens. Apple was a larger company than NVIDIA until they got flipped here recently, like last week. So anyways, Apple's huge. Apple's all in on AI. And so what does that mean? I took a look at AI. I mean, they're going all in. So I have a suspicion that AI is going to rip this week. I think that there's going to be a lot of coverage from this Apple news. There's going to be Siri, all in on AI. The AI tokens here, I got pulled up. They're not moving. I think this is a very good opportunity to get in. If you are interested in AI, I think that right now you can see you got red across the markets. The value here, I think, is prime, right? Fetch AI down 2%, down 20% for the week for Fetch AI. You do have the merge coming up as well. We got video coming up on that this week as well to give you a little bit more up-to-date news. Singularity.net down 20%. Fetch AI down 20%. Theta down 10%. Render down 11%. Near Protocol down 10%. There is a lot of money to be made here, and I'm telling you, AI is about to rip. All right, I want to know, you in the chat, if you had to pick right now, okay, I want to know. You had to pick. Do you think a better play is AI token or Ethereum? And why do I say Ethereum? ETFs right around the corner are going to lock a crap ton of liquidity. You might see the same flows that we've seen out of Bitcoin roll into the ETF for Ethereum. Could see massive price surge. I wouldn't be surprised to see a $10,000 Ethereum, but I think that we're turning a corner on AI. I think that this thing is not going to slow down. Put a 1 in the chat. You think AI is a better play right now, or put a 2 in the chat if you think Ethereum is a better play right now going into this bull market.
I'm with AI.
You're with AI. You're a 2?
Yeah.
I'm a 1.
I'm a 1.
Yeah, come on.
One is AI.
The chat is falling asleep. I want everybody's participation. I need to see a lot of 1s and 2s. Thank you.
So 1 is AI.
1 is AI.
Go 1.
Oh, okay. Yeah, 2 is Ethereum. Okay, so yeah, I'm a 1. So,
while you guys are doing that, I want to give a big thank you to today's channel sponsor, Cam's Blue Wire Technology. If you're enjoying this crystal clear 4K stream on your phone or on your computer or your home television, it is all thanks to Cam's Blue Wire Technology. If you want to learn how they can help your business scale, grow, and maximize your networking, IT, and cybersecurity, visit BlueWireTech.com or click the link on the description, or click the link in the description of this video now. Wow. BNY Mellon, the oldest bank in the United States, one of the first to jump into Bitcoin and crypto. Institutional interest in cryptocurrencies is increasing. Very interesting survey here, Robin, stating that family offices are investigating new investment opportunities and turning to them. BNY Mellon said that cryptocurrency constitute 5% of the portfolios of family offices. So these are your mom and pop stores, your brick and mortars, right? Not the large retail chain, but the mom and pop stores, the ones you see in your neighborhood. According to the 2024 BNY Mellon Wealth Management Survey, approximately 39% of family offices surveyed are either actively investing or considering cryptocurrencies. I mean, it makes sense, right? It makes sense. People saw what happened after the pandemic. People saw what's happening in government with the printing of money. People are seeing what's happening overseas. The Fed had to go ahead and bid on the U.S. Treasury auction, right? And so we're heading down a path of fiat demise. If you guys just remember, if you zoom out, it's only been 50 years since we've had money not backed by anything. Compared to how long has humanity been in existence. It's always been backed by something of value, not just printed out of thin air. And trust me, bro, according to the government. So that experiment is going to come to an end. And so people are trying to get in front of it. And what are they turning to? They're not turning to, let me hoard gold bars. Although I do think it's important to have gold as well, precious metals.
Bro, did I tell you that I was talking to my dad and then all of a sudden this fool, we were, I won't even get into the conversation of money or a reason why, but I was talking to my dad and we were just talking about like, needing to draw a lot of cash all of a sudden, right? I'll leave it there. My dad was like, hey man, I got this, bro. He's like, I got a safe upstairs in the attic. He's like, I got like $250,000 in gold bars upstairs. And I'm like,
you better hope your dad's address is not on the internet.
And I'm like, I don't know, how much Bitcoin you got? He's like, oh man, I ain't got no Bitcoin. I was like, stop it. I'm like, you got $250,000 in gold bars, and I'm like, and
good for him, man.
And you ain't got no Bitcoin. I mean, I love it. I'm down with it. Like, it's cool. Like, the apple didn't fall far from the orange tree, but I'll say.
It's easy, gotta move all this stuff. It's super heavy.
I was just like, it seems like here's the thing though. Tell me I wouldn't like
the bar.
The funny thing is I know I'm just like my dad, right? Because the funny thing is that I wouldn't be surprised if my son or perhaps someone in my family all of a sudden's all like, what? You got $500,000 in Bitcoin? Like what do you mean? So it's the same ideology there. Okay, I'll say this. So on this kind of, because what we're talking about, that article, it's a paradigm shift, right? It's an ideological revolution or a transition, an epiphany, whatever it is. I'll tell you what, when I go out and I talk to individuals about crypto, 5 years ago, if you talked about Bitcoin, a lot of the time people kind of scoffed at it. They laughed. They were like, oh, that's scammy or whatever. Isn't the U.S. going to make it illegal? Like they knew it was here to stay, but they kind of giggled at it, right? Now that the conversation is way different. And it's not that I'm buying it, but the conversation a lot of times now is, well, I can't afford it. That's for another conversation. But it's I can't afford it. I want to buy some. No longer do they laugh at the idea. No longer do they think it's stupid. No longer do they think that it's going to get confiscated. But now it's, well, I don't own any. Damn it. I missed the boat. Those conversations were always there, but it usually got intertwined with there's a crazy crypto guy. He's gonna lose all of his money.
Crazy crypto guys.
Yeah, I am still a crazy crypto guy. It's just the sentiment has changed, but also at the same time, now the it's scammy and I don't like it and it's going to get confiscated and I don't trust it. That's also now the conversation I'm hearing about cash and dollars, right? And so before, everyone was like, no, just stay in dollars or whatever. And they're like, Bitcoin's a scam. Now, it's the opposite. It's reverse. It's a paradigm shift. And now you hear people saying, well, I can't afford Bitcoin. I don't have Bitcoin. I wish I had some. I wish I'd have bought some. Oh, this inflation. Oh, they keep printing money. They just sent more money to Ukraine. And so it's actually changed. The thing is the price hasn't moved. But, 5 years ago, it was 60,000. 4 years ago, now it's 60,000, 70,000. The price, the value's still there. Sure, you look at the previous market top, you look at now. I'm just saying that, look, man, as I said earlier, you are early, you are here, you are in it. As long as you don't F it up, as long as you don't lose a wallet seed phrase or you go all in on some speculative altcoin or some meme coin and then it gets rugged, as long as you just position yourself in a little bit of Bitcoin, layer some ETH in there, and then pick a basket of your favorite altcoins and don't sell it for a little while, you're going to be sitting good, man. And watch our show. We're going to give you the alpha on those other little basket of stuff. We can sit here and beat the drum all day long. We could do a show just like these other guys and be like, hey, you know what? DCA, don't buy anything else. Just buy Bitcoin. DCA, buy Bitcoin. You already know this. We don't need to sit here and sell you on Bitcoin. But we're going to also give you the alpha on all of these other products. What do we got here? We got Quant, extremely underrated. Caspa, one of our favorite projects. It's like Bitcoin 2.0. And then you got XRP, ETF.
Robert's favorite project.
ETF. Could it be coming for XRP?
One of my favorites.
I don't know. The lawsuit's about to end. And then you got Cardano. You got the new hard fork coming out. And that, you're gonna have on-chain governance. It's going to be pretty damn decentralized. I'm just so excited. So excited. You should be excited.
Is my head small?
Yeah.
You look like,
It's always
you look
been
like
small.
a Ninja Turtle.
I feel weird. I
The
feel like my
Ninja
head is
Turtle.
very tiny.
I have another favorite project,
Yeah.
ICP too.
I see.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
ICP, sure.
Oh,
Nice. We
I like it.
actually, this week as well, ICP versus Caspa video.
Boom.
Let me tell you, man, that was the hardest video I've had to put together so far. It was so hard. I was so torn, but decisions have to be made, and I made a decision. You're going to want to watch that video. It'll come out later this week. So let's talk about...
I want to get a little preview for the from the audience. So if you had to pick one, would it be Caspa or ICP? Put a 1 for Caspa, 2 for ICP. I want to know where the chat lies.
Both communities are.
Where both communities are usually here beating the drum in our chat. So 1 Caspa, 2 ICP. I want to know where you guys land. Who's got more audience today?
All right, let's talk about this. Bitcoin balance on exchanges. So, Robin, over the last 30 days, 100,000 Bitcoin has left exchanges. Take a look at this chart on the bottom here, right? Green and yellow. Yellow is Bitcoin's price. Green is the balance on exchanges going back 1 whole year. And as you can see, Robin, we are at yearly lows, and this one does not zoom out to, let's just say, 5 years back. But got to figure this is close to all-time lows for Bitcoin balance on exchanges. Again, talking about the supply shock. So these are just things to keep in mind, right? Sometimes you just got to fade the noise and just dig in and look at the numbers. What are the numbers telling you? What is actually happening? Not what people are saying, not what someone's opinion is. What is actually happening? You can see here, people are pulling Bitcoin off exchanges. They're not selling it, and these ETF issuers are buying it. So...
yeah, it just solidifies our exact argument there. You're going to have this massive supply crunch. Lots of 1s and 2s. I think it's almost kind of like dead. Oh, no, there's actually more 2s and 1s. All right, so ICP community seems to be laying it down. But an interesting one here is Flat Smack said he wouldn't buy ICP if it was free. Somebody please send Flat Smack some ICP. Just send it to him. Send him something for free. Thank you.
he said it looks like a scam. I don't think it's a scam. Anyways, let's talk about this. Crypto markets tread water as traders await the Fed interest rate decision that is happening on Wednesday. Also this week, we're going to see CPI numbers come out and PPI numbers. So expect a little bit of volatility this week in price. Also might be why Bitcoin's kind of been stagnant as people are waiting to see They got money on the sidelines, like, hey, want to see what's happening. Jobs numbers came out. Unemployment's at 4%. It is up. Jobs report came out. They added jobs, but it was all part-time jobs. Full-time jobs actually down. And so people want to see, hey, is the Fed going to finally pivot? We saw Canada pivot. We saw Europe pivot. We saw Japan, Switzerland pivot. Will the U.S. be next to pivot? I think a lot of people are waiting for that. So expect some of that this coming week. With that being said, I'm going to throw it over to Robin. Take a look at the markets. And as the title of this video says, what are some altcoins you should have on your radar? Robin, take it away.
All right. So Bitcoin, right there at that 70K mark, just slightly below it, 69,880. And then taking a look, a lot of movement in the alts today. So we have Oasis. I think it's Oasis Protocol. And then this used to be a top 100 project, fell out of the top 100, back in again. And
Oasis is dope.
Yeah, so you can see here, man, this just a snapshot, over 50 cents in the prior, and now at 12 cents. You know, so all-time high, over 50 cents. Could it regain? I'll say this: with the merge coming up, it's going to consolidate the competition, right? And so Oasis, AI, and so with AI, the leaders in AI, Fetch AI. Also Singularity Net, Ocean Protocol, not quite the leader, but still a very prominent name, is the third token that's going to merge into the ASI token. And that leaves what? That leaves who behind as an alternative investment when you're looking at AI? Well, enter Oasis. And so previously did pretty well, has a familiar name. And so maybe this is something you should keep.
One of the few female-led projects.
I would highlight this one as a potential token or rip, especially if the AI narrative takes off. So maybe that's maybe 18% up on the week might not be the best entry position. Maybe wait for a pullback, but probably something that
I think Uniswap's a good hold.
I don't like Uniswap. I know that they're expanding outside of governance. I know that.
Well, the token holders are going to get a percentage of the fees. That's pretty big.
I understand that what they're doing is outside of the traditional governance token business model. And previously, if you would have asked me 4 months ago, like about Uniswap, I'm like, why would you buy Uniswap? Like let's be real. Like how many
governance, bruh?
Yeah, not a big fan of this governance thing. I guess if you can get into a small project that has a governance token and you expect it to be a big project, makes sense. But if it's already a big project and it's governance, like, why are you going to stop it? But they're expanding. So there's some potential there. I'm going to fade this though. I'm going to probably fade Uniswap. I'm not big into providing liquidity. I'm not big into the DEXs. I like using DEXs, but I just feel like
that's where the magic happens though, man.
I know, man, but from a token perspective, from an investment perspective, I'll pass on that one. I do like Flare though. Flare at number 73 on the CoinMarketCap list. Quant, I know this is one, historically had a very strong previous bull market, over $300 on the all-time high. They are in a sector as far as data that is not quite as saturated as some of the other
I think
areas.
Quant's biggest thing was CBDCs and payments, right? Using their Hyperledger and everything that they do, and the team and Gilbert Verdian, and ties to the IRS, ties to the Queen of England. Used to be the Queen of England, as the King of England. But I think you're seeing a lot of pushback on CBDCs. You have how many politicians here in the U.S., Robin, have come out and flatly said, we will not allow a CBDC. I think that was a big thing people were hanging their hats on, was Quant was going to have a big presence in issuance of and building of CBDCs. But if that narrative seemingly is, I don't want to say dying, I hope it dies. CBDCs are horrible. But if it's kind of dying and you're having more people outspoken against it, do you still think it's a good? I mean,
I think CBDCs are coming, and I think they're gonna slide it in on you, and I think they're gonna offer it, and they're gonna say, "Hey, well, we have it here. If you want to use it, you can. We're not gonna make anybody. No privacy. You're gonna have all your privacy. It's just Just the central bank issue token.
Yeah, then they'll hit you with...
Then they start flipping switches, bro. They start flipping in the same way that, like, all of a sudden they're like, we're going to respect your privacy for the cell phone. Like, don't worry. Like, we're not going to go in your data. And all of a sudden there's a terrorist attack. And then they're like, hey, we're just going to monitor everybody's phone and we don't need anybody's permission. And then they just kind of slid that in and they used fear tactics, geopolitical issues. I see no different here. I think that what we're going to get is that banks are going to slowly roll out CBDCs, and in doing so, the CBDC itself will seem non-intrusive and friendly and optional, and then little by little, they'll incentivize you and also force you to use it little by little.
What's the easiest way to do that? Hey, if you want your tax return...
No, and not even. I think that's even further down the road. Before they even get to that point, they'll just offer you some free money and they'll incentivize you to take it from there, right? They'll say, just like a drug dealer, right? They're like, hey man, no, I'm serious, man. No, just like a drug dealer, like, hey man, like, I'll give you this free bag of whatever, and then you're just like, free, huh? Then they get your ass addicted. Then you be back. Then they're gonna do the same. They're going to say, hey, look, man. I mean, just think about it. You're struggling. You can barely make rent. And then all of a sudden, the U.S. government's like, hey, man, we just gave you this token. You got $1,500. We just airdropped it to you. Would you cash in a CBDC airdrop of $1,500?
Is there going to be a Bitcoin CBDC pair on Coinbase?
I just say, if you got a wallet address mailed to you, you opened up an envelope and it said United States Treasury, and you open it up and you read it and there's a little QR code and there's a wallet address and it says you have been gifted, airdrop, donated, whatever the hell word they want to use, $1,500. Are you going to cash it in? See, that's what I'm saying. They're gonna get your ass, man. That's exactly what they're gonna do. That's exactly. They're not gonna force you by making your tax return. That is later down the road. That's later down the road. But what they're gonna do is they're gonna freaking dangle you with this free money. They're gonna incentivize you to use it. Next thing you know, everybody's gonna
dangle me.
They're gonna give it to everybody, and everybody's gonna have a CBDC wallet now. Whether or not you decide to use it after the fact, whether or not you decide to. And the thing is you're going to cash that in and they're like, wow, that was pretty convenient. That was pretty easy. Like, I paid my bills. Like, it was instant. I didn't have any processing. I didn't have any, I didn't have any instant settlement. Like they normally charge me the 2% to use my credit card to pay my apartment. And they didn't charge me that. They just, like, I'm telling you, they're going to sneak it in on your ass.
You did a poll. You said ICP or Caspa. What are you taking? It's a hard question, isn't it? You're taking Caspa?
Yeah. I just like it. I like its decentralization. And I'm not by any stretch of the imagination saying that ICP is not decentralized, but I think that there's less forces at play for
Caspa definitely has better tokenomics. Let's just face it.
Yeah.
Caspa's got better tokenomics than ICP. I actually go over that in the video, but
don't tell them your answer because you're the one that's doing that whole video. But my outside perspective from the video, I'd have to go Caspa. I think nothing against the ICP in the slightest, but I like the trajectory of Caspa that way.
All right, let's talk about another altcoin. And that is XRP. And so I want to share this news article from Cointelegraph. Ripple partners with National Bank of Georgia to digitize economy. This is not Georgia, the state. This is Georgia, the country. In case you didn't know, there's a country called Georgia. According to the official statement from the NBG, the discussion focused on exploring potential avenues for collaboration in digitalizing the Georgian economy. The new collaboration builds on the previous partnership between the NBG and Ripple. I don't know what kind of effect this is going to have on XRP or its price. I would argue and say probably nothing. And then we have this as well to kind of lump this in here. XRP ETF, a matter of when, not if, as Ripple aims to ride $3 trillion stablecoin market potential This is a quote from Ripple President Monica Long. If you think about it, only XRP and Bitcoin have regulatory clarity on status in the U.S. XRP has been a top 10 asset by market cap and is about the top 5 if you look at daily traded volume. So I think that it will make a lot of sense. I am very bullish on what Ripple, the company, is doing. And if Ripple went public in the U.S. and they had a stock ticker, I would buy Ripple stock. I just would not buy and hold XRP. What are your thoughts on this news? Do you think this is bullish for XRP token? And throw a price prediction out there, man. Where do you genuinely think XRP can get to at the top of this market cycle? More than $5?
I just don't. Partnerships with financial institutions take time. That's their whole business model, right? And so very bullish on XRP in the long term, but there's still regulatory uncertainty with Ripple, not the token. There's uncertainty with Ripple. And so it'd be hard for a central bank, for a large major bank to work with XRP and not look at that lawsuit as an issue. Now, the lawsuit is expected to be over this month. And in doing so, I think we can finally put that to rest and they can move forward with these partnerships. But as I mentioned, it takes time. And I just don't think that those will materialize within the next 18 months. And I think that's really where we're going to get this big run up for this bull market. And so I think it's just not lining up very well as far as the current cycle that we're in and XRP and partnership opportunities. That said, very bullish long term. I think that even though I say that, I think there's a ton of potential. I think this price has been suppressed. And so how high can XRP get? I think $5 is pretty realistic. I think it's about a 10x from where it is now. Puts it at a $250 billion market cap, so $250 billion market cap. I think that that's something that we could see if there is an ETF with that. If there's one filed, let's say the court case is over this month, I would expect an ETF issuer to propose an application within the next 60 days, which means we would likely see one within the next 6 months. Yeah. As soon as that court case is over, within 60 days, ETF application submitted. XRP, as alluded to in this article, has been clarified that the token itself is not a security. However, in the way that it's sold is, and if you decide to sell it through an ETF, well, you're good.
I don't know. I'm not bullish on the XRP token as an investment. Bullish on what it's doing. I'm definitely bullish on Ripple, especially after they're getting into the stablecoin market. I think that company's going to make a lot of money. I just don't think as an investor, holding on to XRP compared to what else you can do with that money is the best move. That's just my personal opinion. And this is coming from someone who has XRP in his wallet. So now let's talk about Cardano. One I think the opposite of. I think it's actually stupid to not have any exposure to Cardano. So Cardano on the verge of the most significant milestone in its history, as Robin alluded to. That is the Chang hard fork, which will usher in the era of Voltaire, which is 100% governance on chain for Cardano with a constitutional committee. They're going down to Argentina. You're going to have delegates. You're going to have reps. You're going to have constitutional committee members. It's going to unlock a lot of money, about $1 billion for ecosystem. And if you're an ADA holder, guess what? You can either delegate your vote. You can vote yourself on where do you want to see Cardano growing and what sector. Is it DeFi? Is it bringing a stable coin? Is it partnerships? Is it nation states? Whatever you want, put up the proposal and vote for it and unlock the money. It's going to be there for you. So Charles Hoskinson believes that June will be the month that Cardano node, the network's top-level component, reaches 9.0. Cardano is already Chang fork ready, and 70% of the stake pool operators are now supposed to install the new node. You also have this Cardano dominating social media discussions. And so a lot of hype around Cardano. There was a lot of whale activity happening, a lot of derivatives volume. on ADA as people are speculating. Are they putting in long positions? You know, we had the Argentina news. We got the Chang hard fork. Cardano has been, a lot of people want to say, asleep at the wheel, but it's still number 10 with a market cap of around $15.8 billion, 44.3 cents.
It was only 3 months ago. It was at almost 80 cents. So we were pretty much damn near a 2x away from Cardano's price just a few months ago. So,
so
I look at it from
March 11th, 77 cents.
I look at it this way. You can pick up a token that damn near 99% certainty is going to have no issues, right? You're not going to get rug pulled. You know what I mean? Like from an investment perspective, analyzing research, very little downside risk as far as the security and decentralized nature of Cardano. That said, the upside, I think that a 2x within the next few weeks or the next few months, I think is a damn certainty for the most part. You know, nothing is for certain in crypto, but there's some I bet my house on it kind of thing. And I wouldn't bet my house on it, but I will say that I bet pretty much anything less than the value of my house on the fact that Cardano within the next, say, 6 months, I think realistically it's probably the next 2 to 3 months, 2x, we get a 85, 90 cent Cardano. And it's just lagging. And we see what happens. And I look at the comments and I'm always surprised. And they always speak about it negatively. Like, well, the price action, it's down and it hasn't moved. Why would you buy it? And I'm like, what? Can you reassess your investment strategy? Because if you don't buy because something is down in price and you only want to buy things that are up in price and that have moved recently, you need to rethink your whole entry position here, right? Because as a just sound way of investing, you want to look at
undervalued
projects that are lower than the market price or lower than where you expect it to be. Very simply said, do you want to buy a collectible that is overpriced at all-time highs, or do you want to buy a collectible now and say, hey, in about 3 years, this thing's about to be worth 10 times what it is, right? Do you want to buy a stock at $1 and then when it gets up in the ranks, it's worth $100? Of course. Do you want to buy a top 10 altcoin that has very downside risk and you know that, hey, just 3 months ago it was 2x from where it is now? Fundamentals aside, price, looking at it from price and chart perspective, I think that you are a fool if you don't give some deep thought into Cardano and you pick another altcoin within the top 10. I think that you're leaving a lot of money on the table.
Yeah. I mean, you take a look at someone like, people like Berkshire or some of the best investors, right? Charlie Munger, Warren Buffett, Paul Tudor Jones. These are people, I mean, Paul Tudor Jones, that's a lot of people point to his Bitcoin thesis back in 2020 that kicked off the bull market. That was when Bitcoin was at its lowest. That is the point, is you want to identify projects that have potential, but their price is either suppressed or the market hasn't realized the value of it. And then you enter. You don't enter into a ton coin at $8 at all-time highs when you could have bought it at 80 cents. That's the point. You got to put some time into it. You got to put some effort into it. You got to research. You got to watch videos. You got to watch our show. These are things you have to do. And the whole idea, that's how people make a lot of money, is they get in before. You don't get in at the top. That's how you lose money. That's how you become exit liquidity. That's the whole point. And so now, if you don't believe in Cardano, different story. But if you're only looking at the price, it hasn't moved. But all this is happening on the back end and you're just laser focused on price, I think you're doing yourself a disservice.
And I would say if the price had just went from previous all-time high, which is $3, and it just slowly dropped down to 20 cents and it just hasn't rebounded at all, then we would have a different conversation. This thing rallied up to 80 cents and is down to 40. I'm just saying, that was 3 months ago. Something to keep an eye on.
Uncle Ben said, sell everything and buy cheeseburgers. Solid. Right. Some talk about real world asset tokenization. So I want to share a chart with you, Robin. This is from coinedition.com. Take a look at which sectors have performed over the last 1 month. And head and shoulders above the rest is the RWA sector, real world asset tokenization, coming in at the entire sector up 61.9%. The second highest is the Ethereum ecosystem, or Ethereum, the coin. That is up 26.7%. Then you have the Bitcoin ecosystem up 22.2%. Bitcoin itself up 13.9%. And then centralized exchanges, their tokens, they're up 12.8%. But RWAs, 61.9%. We talk about this ad nauseum. Obviously, BlackRock launching funds on Ethereum. We have Hedera that took one of BlackRock's fund and tokenized it on their platform, or one of the projects on Hedera. Then you take a look at the RWA token watch list from CryptoRank.io. The one that I have the most exposure to is Ondo Finance. That has rallied over 56% over the last 30 days. But you have some other gems in here. We did a video. I covered Goldfinch. That's a good one. Centrifuge. That's at a 991, or that's at a $300 million market cap. And if you go down the list and you really do some research, and we do videos on this stuff all the time. So if you're not subscribed to the channel, I would definitely recommend you do so. But there's tons of different RWA projects. Or if you want to just keep it very, very simple, buy Ethereum. I think Ethereum, I think Chainlink, if you want to keep it safe and not have to worry about research, like, hey, look, I want some exposure to real world asset tokenized, projects, whatever. I don't got time, man. Like, I just want to minimize my risk. Okay, Ethereum, Chainlink. Maybe Hedera. Keep it simple. A lot of these large asset managers like BlackRock are launching on Ethereum. You have Chainlink with CCIP, which, by the way, got a video on that coming out later this week as well. Chainlink CCIP, they're connecting everything. So private banks to public blockchains can be able to send value back and forth. Link will be used as a universal gas token. That's an RWA hedge. Then you have some like, what's the other one I mentioned? I said ETH,
Ondo,
Chainlink, and no, there was something else I mentioned. Oh, Hedera. You have Hedera, right? Governing council, a lot of big names on there. Google, Boeing. Maybe if Boeing brought their some of their stuff on chain, maybe it wouldn't be so many issues. But regardless, this is a sector you don't want to fade. This is a sector that's going to be transacting trillions of dollars of value. Which coins, which projects did you have exposure to be able to realize some of those gains? Those I mentioned Ondo's a really good one. And then just go down this list, man. Go down this list, do some research, look at some tokenomics, look at what sectors you think will be tokenizing. Real estate's a big one, right? We did a whole thesis on that in one of our live shows. So a lot of money to be made in this cycle, man. You just, it's still early. The bull market hasn't really rallied like it's going to. So you can still get good entries. I mean, you take a look at something like Ondo, $1.83 billion market cap. Can this thing get to 50? Yeah, I think it can. What, a 25x, 28x, 30x away? That's pretty damn good. 30x. It's pretty damn good. Chainlink, I still can get a 20x from Chainlink. That's pretty damn good on the conservative side. Ethereum, maybe not 20x, maybe 8 to 10x. That's pretty good. 800 to 1,000% gains is good. We get so caught up in the 100x's, the 500x's that we fail to realize, guys, an 8 to 10x is good fucking money. That's my thesis. What are your thoughts on RWAs and anything on here that you're kind of favoriting? Are you like, are you the simple investor? Like, look, I'm just going to buy some ETH.
I still think that the RWA sector is pretty new. There hasn't really been any. I think Ondo's the one that's kind of stood out the most as far as
they're tied to BlackRock as well.
Yeah, and I was talking to somebody that has a pretty large exposure here in the chat. I won't throw your name out there, but someone that has a pretty large exposure to Ondo has been kind of layering in on it recently. Maker's good, but I don't know. I would just say Ondo is kind of my favorite, and just because the sector is so new, I would kind of just think that these still have a lot of room to run. So why not pick the top competitor? If you were looking at the possibility of smart contracts in the early days, you'd be a fool not to say, hey, you know what? There's smart contract on this one, and there's also this Ethereum one. It's already rallied a lot. It's at $12 now. Like, I don't know if it's a good time to get into Ethereum. I might have missed the boat on that. Like, you know what? The sector was new. That was the leader. Same thing can be said for every sector, right? For AI, for metaverse, for NFTs. There's always a leader. And in the beginning stages of the market, you pretty much can't go wrong picking the leader, right? And so for that reason, I'd probably go with Maker or Ondo. I like Ondo though, I think, because of the BlackRock connection.
Ondo, Link, ETH, those are all good plays for RWAs. We did a poll. ADA, XRP, or neither. 55% said ADA, 25% said neither, and 19% said XRP. Before we log off, I do want to say one more thank you to our channel sponsor, Cam's Blue Wire Technology. If you want to learn how they can help your business scale and grow, visit bluewiretech.com. Also, guys, we've got 3 banger videos coming for you this week, so you want to have your notification bell on. If you're not subscribed to the channel, do so. I saw some people last week saying, hey, I don't get notifications anymore. Unsubscribe, resubscribe, and ping the notification bell. It should solve the issue, as some of our community members have done that. Also, go follow us on X and Twitter. As we post, that's where we're most active on social media. And if you're watching us on other platforms such as X, Rumble, or Twitch, hop on over to YouTube, hop on over to X, say hello. We'd love to welcome you guys. And so that's all I got. Anyone else have anything?
That's it, bro.
Rocco, are you excited? Rocco will be gone the rest of the week. We're going to miss you, Rocco.
Thank you.
Are you excited to go to Italy again?
I'm going to Italy in 5 days. So I wish I would go back to Italy.
You going to go to Disneyland?
Disney? No. I see so many people already where I worked at.
This is what they're doing in Disneyland now. Look at this.
There we
got,
go.
What is that?
got a bird dancing. Look at that.
Oh, wow. Even birds.
Just vibing, bro.
Yeah, just throw that bird on a grill and cook it. Anyways, so Rocco will be gone the rest of the week. We'll have Ashley. I know a lot of you love having her in studio, so you got your wish. And
That's it. Why are you laughing?
It's always fun
Why are you
because
laughing?
Ashley clowns on Rob. It's always great. And Robin can't like snap back at her because then he feels bad. So it should be an interesting week.
Well, she can clown on me and then I'll just snap off at you.
Oh, yeah, that's how it works. I forgot. Sorry. Anyways, guys, with that being said, Rocco?
Before we with the finger tornado, she knows how to do finger tornado things.
She's going to learn if she doesn't.
All right. Go again.
She's got no choice. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Hope you had a great weekend. This is going to be an amazing week. You do not want to miss our show the rest of the week, so make sure you come back tomorrow. Same place, same time. Until next time, my friends. Love you guys. Peace.
City, crypto. Everybody know we here for entertainment and info. Gonna show you how to get that big dough. So every day stay tapped in for big facts, no capping. With Bitcoin, if you're in, then you win. We divide the pie with no fraction. It's Big Rob, David. I split the game, but they gave it. Name the coin that's your favorite. I got dry powder, why save it? To the OGs, new beginners. Special shout out to the well members. Buy a dip, sell winners. Ain't really nothing you can tell sinners. Tune in for the latest new flavors. They gonna teach us mean coins. They polarizing like barbecue chicken pizzas. I laugh with a major grin. Laggers, we trade them in. Baddies, they came to sin. And sinners gon' play to win. Screaming, hola, till my bags are flowing over. Hold ya to the moon and to the solar. Won't I? Don't be letting FOMO control ya. It's over when the finger tornado close ya.